where maybe personalities they're not necessarily very interesting, but the way they tell a story or the way they kind of format and treat their content, the way they shoot it, is what makes people watch them, right? So there's so many ways to kind of cut it, but it really comes down to what you think you can bring value to and where do you think your passion lies. Because you're not going to make money from this very quickly, right? So it has to be something that you can do in the dead of night that you just really love doing, because that's what's going to keep you motivated.
Hi, good afternoon, good morning. Again, thank you so much for that very comprehensive presentation. So as a content creator, I'm very, very encouraged. Now, going through your journey, we saw that you started alone, right? And then eventually you built up a team. So when do you think should a creator start just not doing it by our own selves and build up a team? When do we actually need to do that?
I don't think a team is necessary for everyone. I think it really comes down to your personality and who you are as a creator and how you operate. I still know people, like someone like Will Dasovich, for example, who creates videos online. He's still very much, he has a small team, not a huge one, because he is the best person to edit his videos. He's the best person to put it together and everything like that. And I think he's tried to work with different teams and it just never really worked out because what he wanted was so specific and personal to himself, because it's a personal vlog, that he couldn't let go of that process. In my case, it was very different because for what I wanted to achieve, I needed someone else to hold the camera on because I didn't want just but I needed movement, I needed shots, and I wanted it to look a bit prettier and specific. And I love using movies and music as references, and I wanted to put that in there. The first hires I did were purely functional hires, so basically camera people that could kind of work with me on those things. And then it was identifying the things that I'm not the best at and what I could hire someone that's way better than me at. So the first thing there was editors. I'm not a great editor. I can do cut-to-cut edits. I can edit quickly, so I can offline a video very quickly, but then I can't polish it. I don't have the patience or the foresight for it. So I made sure to hire 2 editors from the get-go, a couple years down the line, basically to help me bring that vision to life. The last ones I held off on were the things that I felt like I could still do alone. So accounts, dealing with clients, general management, things like story producing, researching, all those things, directing, were all things that I still felt very comfortable that I could do, to the point where we had too many projects and then my brain just couldn't compute anymore. So I had to hire other people who were very similar to me. Those were mostly producers and executive producers to kind of find those stories, because I didn't have the time to do it anymore. So it was a very natural growth. I didn't hire before I needed them. I made sure to feel the stress for like a couple of months to say, okay, do I really need to hire someone? And then eventually made that hire.
Aaron, so I just wanted to ask, so you mentioned that for a few years you shouldn't do this as your job, right? There's this saying where, when you're trying to do something, for example, when you're working out, you want to put in as much reps, right? Like, as much reps throughout the month. And would that go with the same thing as YouTube, where you got to do more quantity again and again, as much as you can, without focusing too much on the quality? Because I think a lot of starting creators are more focused on like, oh, I gotta create this quality, because like, this is how they do it now, and then they get stuck to this first and second video and never try again. And so like, what's your take on that? But I just wanted to understand that in a tailored, situation for YouTube, especially long form content, and in this generation, there's so much content. What's your take on quantity and quality?
I think momentum is probably the most important thing ever. If you're using workout as an analogy, then you can, when you're getting up in the morning at 6 a.m. and you can decide then and there while you're lying down, you can decide either I'm gonna get on my phone and do nothing and procrastinate for like an hour, or I'm just gonna do this and get up, right? That's momentum, right? So it's very easy to get on your phone, and it's also very easy to just stand up, but it's a mental decision that you need to make. And I think with videos and content in general, it's the same exact thing. Like if you think about too many things and you start thinking about revenue and how do I make this a job, or think about, okay, this is the treatment that I want. It's fine to have inspiration, that's totally fine. But if you have so many of these things kind of clouding your judgment, it's going to stop you from taking that step and just building that momentum. So you need to keep creating, even if you
Hello
don't
guys!
publish it,
Hi,
publish
Fast
it,
and
just
Sweetness.
get feedback and stuff like that.
So guys,
But I
nandito
do
ako
think
ngayon
it's
sa
important to make
naimbitahan ako ni
those
YouTube.
failures public.
And I'm very
So that
happy
you get
kasi
the right
marami akong
feedback and
natutunan.
fine-tune,
So,
I
hello
always
sa
tell
lahat
people,
ng
don't
mga
think you're good at something,
mga
because you're
subscriber
not,
ko
right? A lot of us
dyan,
must have,
and
we're not good, and that's
marami
fine,
pa
right?
po
When
akong
we start YouTube,
magagawang dance
people
para sa
that were
inyo.
YouTube
So,
were, like, frustrated
love you
filmmakers,
guys!
people that were super bored, people that didn't know what they wanted to do with their life, people like me were frustrated they couldn't get on TV.
So, sa mga views ko
And so
today,
it's really
hi, hello,
important
how,
to
hi,
understand that
guys.
and build your
Sobrang
skills up as you go.
enjoyable
The only way you
dito.
do that
Sobrang ganda.
is that muscle memory, like creating again, right? And that's how you also fine-tune your voice. I think it's really important because you need that consistency for people to understand who you are.
So,
Because a lot of
yun ang
times now,
sasalita,
we decide who you are in that one
asawa
video,
ni
but if
Ann
you look at
Curtis.
body of work,
So,
they understand
grabe,
you a little bit.
3.48 million na yata ang kanyang subscriber. So, grabe, marami ako natututunan dito, guys. So, ayan.
Okay, last two.
Okay, grabe, ang dami rin dito mga sikat na YouTuber. So, nakakatawa po. Nakakatawa kasi makikilala mo sila. So, sobrang happy ko.
It's very difficult. Moments in life, like taking the next step is a very difficult step. Now, here's the real question: is we all create. Some of us create, like he says, some create every day, some create high quality content. But it doesn't change the fact that you're always running in your head. How do you stop burnout?
You exactly that. You do it because you love it. You don't do it because of the job. You don't. When YouTube told me to post 3 times, 4 times a week, I said, thanks, but no. Like, I'll do it once a month, and then I'll talk to you in a bit. I think that's really important. I think it's keeping it at passion as long as possible before you figure out how it becomes a job. So if you have that in your head that because the algorithms tell me I need to post a video, it needs to happen, that's how you're burn out really quickly if you're way too invested in it. And that's why I say it's important to do other things, right? It can be a hobby or it can be a job, just because it takes your mind off it. And I'm a huge fan of what they call, it's like circular multitasking. So imagine 8 boxes in front of you with 8 different projects, 8 different facets of your life. You work on one project, and instead of trying to finish it, if you get sick of it, you move on to the next box, to the next box, to the next box. Keep going around, because once you're into those boxes, they'll inspire something that maybe you forgot about the first box, and all of a sudden you can finish that first project really quickly. So I think it's really important, because creators in general, we're multi-hyphenates, is to keep that also in terms of your personality and also in terms of your interests. Like I came close to burnout a few times, and my switch to that was really realizing so the first few documentaries we didn't fly, because all of a sudden people were watching my content because it's Erwan doing a cooking video or a travel video or whatever, and all of a sudden you see a random person on screen that the audience is not used to, right? And those first few videos didn't do well, they tanked, and that put me in a really hard place, and I was like, you know what, screw it. I really enjoy doing this, I'm just gonna keep doing it. If people want to unfollow, they can unfollow. So I think removing that pressure from yourself is really key, right? And just keep creating because you love doing it.
Okay, the very last one.
Hello, guys. Just wanna thank everyone for that wonderful story of this. My name is Bart. I'm a YouTuber, and I'm astounded by the story. I'm still a fan of you, Erwan. I'm a chef actually, and right now I'm a content creator. Just wanna get an advice from you, since I do have a passion in cooking, and I still wanna do cooking as well. But a little bit of background, I worked at in the States already. I worked at Toyo, if you know Toyo. Real good restaurant, real good people. And I just wanna get an advice from you on how do I transition myself into maybe making my own restaurant and do a more, fine dining restaurant. The restaurants that serve that type of dishes and courses. I do want to incorporate my voice, my storytelling in how to, how you did your story from before until now. And yeah, speaking from the man himself who did everything already, from making dishes, telling stories, how do I actually transition myself doing that?
How old are you?
26.
You're still young, man.
Yeah.
So I think it's key to, especially as a chef or a cook, it's really key to define your perspective on food and what you bring to the table that maybe not other people are doing it. The only way you define that is by working in kitchens, and keep working in kitchens, keep experimenting, and hold those positions for at least 1 or 2 years to really develop the skill set to set up restaurants, because restaurants look really pretty on the outside, but they're one of the toughest businesses. And I went through that because when I had to close, I think at one point it was 6 restaurants, that was 240 employees that had to be let go, right? So, and that was all within a period of 4 months. Plus, because I was already a quote-unquote content creator, people were talking shit about me online saying, oh, everyone's closing these restaurants because this food is disgusting. So you had all these kind of like really negative feelings coming out of it. So the restaurant business in general is harsh, especially if you're building it side by side with an online personality. So I think define yourself, define your cooking, define your flavor profiles and stuff like that first before you even think about opening a restaurant, because you need to understand the business side of things first. And then once you define that voice, you can fine tune that. That's what's great about online. It's an automatic test kitchen, right? You can define that voice online by creating, seeing how people react to your food and kind of fine tuning it from there while getting that real life experience. We actually recently hired a content creator who's a chef. His name is Seth, 23, like he's way hyper. And people are not used to hyper on our channel, so people were kind of like being mean to him in the comments. I just sit him down, like it's okay. It happened to me too. And he's an amazing chef, worked in a bunch of different restaurants, and what he's doing is he's working with us full time as a content creator, but he's also staging in different restaurants. Because for him, it was always about how can I make it internationally. And I said, hey, if you're working for feature, we don't care about making it internationally. It's about how do we focus on uplifting local industry. And so he's kind of changed his idea of what he wants to be as a chef, and he's really exploring Filipino food while he's here. And so I think that's key. I think it's really building that palate and building that skill set first. And you have time. You have a lot of time.
Okay, with that, we'll wrap up.